Okay, so in the last class we discussed about the basics of languages, and we discussed about the high level and low level languages and the difference of these two. And we also discussed about the translators which we use to translate from a high level language to the machine code. In that section, we discussed about the compiler and interpreter. Okay, and we discussed some of the basic differences between these two, compiler and interpreter. So by using those languages, we develop some sort of instructions or some a set of instructions. That instructions are called as programs. Okay, and these instructions that we develop should have a particular order. It should follow some particular order or syntax, we call syntax or rules that has to be followed when you make such kind of instruction by using that particular language. So the language includes Python, Java, C, C++, all those things. So those languages that human has to understand first, we have to understand that languages. Also, that has to be converted into the system language, that is binary codes. Okay, so this process, all these process should happen, then only we can make the program by using that particular language. If you are not able to understand that particular instruction, that particular written in a particular language, then it will not be having any use. Okay, so we have to understand the instructions that will include in these programs. Okay, and also the system, the computer also need to understand the same. So if you write something, for example, add a comma b, something like that, then the instructor or the programmer will understand this means that we have to add certain numbers. Okay, at the same time the system also recognize, or the system also should understand that by using this code, which means that we have to add some numbers. So the this process will be done by using the language translators that we already discussed in the last class, by this compiler and interpreter. So they will convert these programs which is written in a high level language, for example Python, and that will be converted into the machine language, and the machine will understand that particular instruction. So how we will write this set of instruction in a particular order, or by using certain rules and regulations or syntax, so that we will discuss now how we can write or develop some program which is nothing but set of instruction which will give you some output. Okay, some meaningful output. So the developed program should have a particular structure. It is having some defined output. Okay, it should not be something random. It should not give you something which is not required result. So we will be developing programs which is based on our aim or our interest, and we need some particular output from that program. So we'll develop the program or set of instruction by using the languages that we discussed in the last class. Maybe it is high level or low level, and then we will use some particular syntax for developing these programs. Syntax is nothing but we will be going through some rules and regulations in developing this program. For example, if you write something on a paper, for example in these assignments, or in the seminars and all those things, if you submit that assignment, then that assignment should follow some particular order. Okay, if you start from first you have to start from the introduction. First you will be having title, then introduction. Okay, then contents, then conclusion, some kind of order that you have to follow. Also the content that you are writing should be neat, and it should contain all the information that is necessary for that particular assignment. So we have to follow some particular pattern or some particular order or some rules in order to have it a complete or what we can say a very good assignment or seminar or whatever it is. Similarly, in the case of programs also, if you want to develop a program, it should follow some particular rules, okay, or rules, or some particular kind of so some particular syntax. So these syntax are called are nothing but rules, or some particular what we say, uh, some kind of arrangement, okay, that is already in there when we are developing that program. So that has to be followed. Otherwise the program will not be in that particular manner, and it will not give you the exact output, okay, or it will not run by the system. So these syntaxes are certain rules that we have to be followed while developing these programs, okay. So that has to be followed. This syntax has to be followed. So different program languages, if you are using, and if you are developing programs in different languages, that has to be followed with a different set of instruction, or different set of rules and regulations, or syntax. Okay, so that has to be followed while developing these programs. So now we will discuss what are the steps involved in developing a program. So as I said earlier, these are the steps which is applicable to any program, not only to the Python, but all the programs. We will be using these basic steps to develop this particular program. Uh, there are some steps that we will discuss later. We will discuss some basics steps, and we will include some more steps in between that also necessary in development of a program. So we will first consider the problem. Okay, first we will consider the problem. So first step is nothing but the problem. So if you want to develop any program, first you need a problem. What is your problem? Okay, if there is no problem, then there is no output, or we don't have to solve anything. If there is a problem, then we have to solve that problem. Okay, so okay, so visible അല്ലേ? ഹലോ, വിസിബിൾ അല്ലേ? ഇപ്പോ കാണുന്നില്ലേ? സ്ക്രീൻ കാണുന്നുണ്ടോ?
ആ സർ കാണുന്നുണ്ട്.
Okay, so first we have to define the problem. Okay, then only we can develop the program. First we need a problem. Okay, so first one is problem. From that we will identify that. So we'll make a box here. The first one is identify the problem. Identify the problem. So what is mean by this? For example, if you want to add two numbers, okay, so that is our problem. So if you do not have any program or any such kind of instructions in our in the entire system, okay, then we have to start with a new problem. Okay, adding two numbers is not a new problem. It is already there. There are many codes or programs which will do the same, but in some cases that is not the exact problem. For example, if you consider the this Swiggy, for example, I'm saying. So that app they have developed, uh, which is based on the problem that how we can deliver food items through online to different locations or to different addresses. Okay, so that is a basic problem that they have developed, and they designed the app, their app accordingly, and they have made all the instruction and everything. So first we will consider this part, that is the identification of a problem, or identify the problem. So in this section we will identify what is the problem. So for example, in present situation, it is there already, different apps are available for this kind of home deliveries. Okay, food home deliveries like Swiggy. So in that case, if there is no such a any such kind of apps that that is not there, for example. Okay, so then they will start thinking how we can develop something, or some program which will be uh, you doing this kind of activities, which you will be doing, or if you want to order something, if you want to order some particular food from some particular restaurant. Okay, and that has to be done online, and then after ordering, giving the address and all those things, and you have to get that food through some home delivery system. Okay, and you will receive that particular food from your home, and you will pay money for that particular thing. So that is the problem, that they have set. Okay, so first the problem is making a program or instruction which is assigned, or which will give you an output which is nothing but a result of this home delivery system. Okay, nothing but this home delivery. So that is based on the online platform. So they have to develop some application based on this problem, that how we can deliver food items to different locations or different addresses through online. Okay, that is the problem. That is a real life problem, as compared to adding two numbers. That is a very old problem, as you know. So this kind of even if you consider any such kind of applications, apps in your phone. For example, if you consider Amazon, they have thought that how we can deliver different items through online. How we can first we have to they have to purchase through online, then we have to deliver the same. So they will first they will identify the problem that the society has. Okay, what kind of problem the society is facing now, and how we can solve that particular problem. So if you consider the Amazon app, they might have thought that the if you go and buy some items in some particular shop, it will not be available, then you have to wait for some time to get that particular item. But if you make an online platform that will have all kind of items that is available, and with us you can get it as fast as possible. So that they might have thought like that, how we can do such kind of a platform or an application that anyone can use, and they can buy different items through online from any part of the world. So that kind of a problem. So that is the first part of any program or any instruction, whether it is a simple program that you do in your lab or laptop, or any program, as I discussed, any program like an application, an app which is Amazon or any. So even you can consider the other application, Byju's, for example, that is a learning application. So they might have thought that how we can teach these students for very a large population, in a very large population, even though you know that the students, some of the students may not be having access to the internet, but how we can give them all this maximum number of students, how we can give effective teaching and learning, such kind of an environment. So that was the problem that they have to solve when developing this Byju's app. So first we have to identify the problem Okay, that is the initial or the first step of any program or any such kind of development of any such kind of instructions that we have to identify. So we have to identify this problem, and then we will go to the we will convert that by using the human brains how we can solve this particular program. And this will go to this next step, which is nothing but the algorithm or flowchart. So this is the algorithm or flowchart. This you might have heard of this algorithm or flowchart. So what is this? This is nothing but conversion using human brain. Conversion using human brain. Okay, so first we identified the problem. Once you identify the problem, then you have to convert that problem into some particular pattern that by using human brain, we can make some kind of pattern or steps that you have to follow to solve the problem. And that particular steps or pattern or flow of instructions, that is called as the algorithm or flowchart. So in the case of algorithm, you have to arrange those steps that will be used to solve the that particular problem. Uh, so these are the steps that we need to develop or to execute to solve that particular problem, and then we have to write it in steps like step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. So for example, if you consider the home delivery, food home delivery, for example, online platform, what you have to do. So for food, if you want to develop an application or program to develop food delivery online mode. So what you have to do, you have to develop some particular application. Okay, so this is your problem, how we can deliver the food after ordering that particular item from a particular restaurant, okay, by using their own addresses and all those things. So this is the problem that we have to solve. How we can do that? So we have to develop an application or a app simply. In that app, first we have to, what is the first step? So this is our problem. So we have already defined the problem or identified the problem, and then we have to convert that particular problem to some algorithm or flowchart, which is nothing but the steps followed in that particular uh, program that will be solved after executing all those steps. So this steps, for example, if you develop the algorithm, then we have to consider step 1 start. Okay, step 1 start, and step 2, what is step 2? Step 2, we have to for example, first we have to make some this application that has to be uh, make your own account. So for example, this step 2 may be like input the uh, address of the user, for example. Okay, user address that we need. Okay, and the step 3 the address of, for example, I'm just writing that in the simplest form, because I'm not going to write all this program for an food delivery application. So I'm just giving you some kind of uh, first look into this kind of programs or applications. So this we need next, what we need, address of the restaurant. Okay, so, but before this we need what kind of food that person need. So food food item we need. And then step 4, so we had to assign some particular restaurants for that particular food items very close to that person. So I'm not going to write all those steps, I'm just writing some of them. Okay, assign restaurant. And then we have step 5, if assigned restaurant, then we have to show the price of that particular item. Okay, and if you buy that, if you buy that particular one, then show time of delivery and all those things we need. And then step and etc, many steps are there. I'm just showing the this as payment also we have to make through online or offline. You have to give option for that. Okay, and then we need step 8, let's say stop. Okay, so all these steps, these are not this entire step for the food delivery app online, that is available online like Swiggy. These are not the all the steps, but I'm just giving you some hint towards that how we can develop that particular program. So first we have to start the program, and from that program you have to ask what is the address of the user, that is the one the person that ordering that particular food item. And after getting that address, we need what is the food item. Okay, and then once you know what is the food item, then you have to assign some particular restaurant, that is where you will get this particular food item. For example, in some hotels they will give you very good non-veg items, and some in some restaurants they will give you uh, only vegetarian food. So depending on the food item, you have to choose which restaurant or hotels which will provide you that particular food item, that has to be shown to the user. And then once the user know this restaurant, and then they will check for price, which restaurant will give me the price which is very small and with the good quality and all those things, that you have to give in the next step. And also you can give a review of the uh, other users, they have already ordered from the same restaurant, all those things that you can add here, step 6 and step 7, like that. That I'm not showing here. Okay, so I'm just giving you some very simple steps that is that has to be followed in this particular application. So then after showing the price, the user may need the time of delivery, how much time it will take to reach to the particular location, and all those things, when the food will be available, all those things the user has to know. And then after that only the user has to pay through this online or offline mode, and I mean pay by cash and all those things. And then this program has to stop. So these steps has to be followed. For example, if you consider these steps, for example, this payment, if you consider here, somewhere here, this step is payment is here before showing sorry, after showing this food item, for example. So this program will not run in smoothly. For example, if you consider this input address of user, and after that the user will define what kind of food he needs, and after that you are having this step of for payment through online or offline, for example. So that is not going to work, because once you know the food item, you don't have to pay. Once you know the you get the food item, then you have to assign some particular restaurant for that particular food item. Okay, where you will be getting that particular food item. Then only after that the user has to compare different restaurants where we will get the same food with less price, with good quality and all those things. The user has to understand, and then only we have to pay. The user then only the user has to pay. So the program, when we develop the program, we need to thoroughly follow the steps, okay, in order to make it very useful, and the output of the program very comfortable with the user. Otherwise the program will not be in a good shape, and the user will not use that. For example, if you develop a program which will ask you the payment initially before you go to the next step, for example assigning restaurant and showing the minimum price restaurants, all those things, then the user will feel that this particular application is not that much good, because we have to pay the amount first, then go to the for checking these prices or comparison in the next step. That is not a good one, right? So in that case the user will easily he will not follow, or he will not he will uninstall the application from his own device. So the program that you develop, or the application that you develop, should be user friendly, and it should be useful to the user, and then only the user will be using that particular application or program. For example, if you consider WhatsApp, if many millions of pupils are using WhatsApp, which means that WhatsApp are very user friendly, and they are using these users are using it very comfortably. Okay, otherwise they will not use it, otherwise they will throw it out. Okay, so the program that you develop, that must be following some steps that is very fine with the user. That is very important. Similarly, so this particular steps that we followed, these steps we followed, which is nothing but the algorithm for solving this particular question or this particular problem. Okay, so these steps we followed to solve this particular question or this particular problem, how we can deliver food items online. Okay, similarly you can develop the flowchart also for this particular problem. So I'm just giving you some particular, this is not the exact way, I'm just giving you some introduction to these things. So first we have to start, then you have to give the inputs. Okay, you have to give the input as your address of the user, and then you order that food item you have to give food item. So this is not the exact flowchart method, but I'm just writing this. And in sometimes you have to use some kind of loop, like this condition statement will be there. For example, uh, if you consider the price wise, okay, so you have to give some kind of for example veg or non-veg. For example, if you consider in this particular scenario veg or non-veg, so if the user selected veg, then you have to go this way. Then if the user selected non-veg, then you have to go this way. Okay, so that for example veg, okay, veg. So this is no. So then you have to go for these particular restaurants. Okay, a number of list of restaurants will be there, and food items and all those things. Or if you want non-veg, then you have some food items, etc. here. So that so this flowchart also give you some structured form of form to solve your defined problem. Okay, so we have to develop this algorithm or this flowchart in order to solve this particular problem that we developed. Okay, so that is the second step in the development of a program. So that is the algorithm or flowchart. And after that, we have to go to the program in high level language. Okay, so this will be again converted into, this one will be again converted into. So then we have to develop this program in high level language. So up to now, there is no program. Okay, high level language. So first we will define the problem. Then we have to use this algorithm or flowchart to solve the problem. So that will make, by using our brain, we will make some particular steps that has to be followed to solve that particular problem efficiently or appropriately. So then we will go to this development of the program in high level language. So that is nothing but this writing the program corresponding to this algorithm or flowchart in high level language. That is the next step. So this is also by using human brain. So this is also by conversion by using human brain. Here also we use our brain to convert that particular algorithm or flowchart or the steps that has to be followed into the program. Okay, so here we will use the languages. Okay, and then after this we will go to development of that object code. Once you have developed that program, once you wrote that program, not development, this is program that has to be written in high level language. Once you written that program in high level language, then that has to be converted into the object code. So here we have the object code, object. So this is nothing but in machine language. So object code in machine language. Machine language. So object code in machine language. So this how we'll do this one? This one is by using the compiler or interpreter. This is by using compiler or interpreter. If you are using high level language, okay. So this is by using compiler or interpreter, or simply you can write the language translators. So that is this conversion using compiler or interpreter. Okay, this is not done by humans. This is not by human brain. This has to be done by a compiler or interpreter, that is from a high level language to the object code. So once first step is identify the problem, then you have to design the algorithm or flowchart to solve that particular problem. Then that based on that algorithm or flowchart, we have to write the program in high level language by using particular language, and that high level language has to be converted into object code by using compiler or interpreter. And the final, we have to go to then we have to go to the executable file. This is nothing but your executable file. So this is the last one, which is the executable file, which is nothing but now your program is fully developed and you can run that particular program in your device. Okay. So this will be done by conversion using linking software. So once you make this object code, that has to be converted into an executable file. That will be done by a linking software. Okay, so these are the basic steps to develop a program. I hope you understood this. And so there are some more steps if you want to know. We will. ഇതിന്റെ ഇടക്ക് ഓഫായി തോന്നുന്നു. കാണുന്നില്ല അപ്പം. ഹലോ, നെറ്റ്വർക്ക് അതിന്റെ ഇടക്ക് പോയി തോന്നുന്നു.
യെസ് സർ, കാണുന്നുണ്ട്.
ഓക്കെ, ഇവിടെ നെറ്റിന്റെ പ്രശ്നം. So we will discuss some more steps in this development. So these are some steps that we have to include in between these steps. For example, if you consider, first we have to design the problem, as we discussed earlier, or we can define the problem first. Define problem. Then we have to go to the solution part. Design solution. This is nothing but that algorithm and flowchart, how we can solve the particular problem that we have to do, designing the solution. Okay, then we have to develop the program or write the program. So this is this step, nothing but is called as program, which is called as program coding, which is program coding. Okay, so this is nothing but translating the design into, for example, an application using programming language. Okay, that is not, the program coding means nothing but translating the design into an application using a program language, a programming language. Okay, so that is the program coding. Meaning of that program coding is you have to translating this design that you have designed for as solution, and this designing solution, that is the second step. Okay, once you design that solution, that has to be translated into a program by using a particular language. Okay, that process is called as program coding. Okay, so we have a set of instruction or steps that we have to be followed to solve that particular problem that we know, but we have to translate that particular steps into a particular language, okay, or into a particular application by using particular programming language, and that particular step is called as program coding. Okay, that after this program coding, then we have one step which we didn't included here. So this is nothing but test and debug. Test and debug. Okay. So this test and debug means once you have that program, I mean, once you develop the entire program in this high-level language and use this compiler or interpreter to convert that into object code and machine language or executable file. Okay, all this will be done when you are doing this coding and execution of that particular instructions. Okay, and after that we have to test. Once you execute this particular program that you just developed or written in particular language that you have to execute, then you test whether it is giving you the appropriate result or not. That is this step which is the test and debug. So if it is not giving you an appropriate result at the end, then you have to find out where the mistake is. That particular process is called as debugging. Okay, once there is some kind of mistake in your program, then you have to debug that program. This you have to use only one G. So test and debugging. Or debug you can use, no problem. So bug means some error in your program. Okay, so debugging means you want to remove that program. Sorry, remove that particular bug or error in your program. Okay, so that step is nothing but test and debug, which means that you have to test your program, and if there is some error in this particular program, then you have to remove or you have to rectify that particular error or correct that error, and then again you have to follow the same step to again test and debug. Okay, once you finish with this test and debug and your program is running smoothly and you are getting the desired output, then you have to go for documentation. Okay, this is the next level that we didn't included in that the earlier explanation. So this is nothing but the documentation. Okay, documentation. After that, then we have implementation. So these are this we will use in programs which is in little higher level, because in normal programs we will not use this kind of documentation or implementation in your normal. For example, if you are doing it in lab for a course, for example, for studying purpose, these things may not be that much important. This documentation and implementation, still it is there. Once you develop the program, you can use that. For example, if you develop a program to add two numbers, you can document it and you can implement it. Implementing is nothing but using that particular program to add two numbers. Okay, that is nothing but implementation of your program. But normally this documentation, implementation, all those things will come when you are really going to use it, really going to use it a very wide, within a wide range of population, something like that. Then only it will come to the picture. Otherwise, still we are implementing, still we are using it, but not like the application that is in your mobile, right? Because if you are developing some program to add two numbers in your lab, that you are not going to use like what we are using in mobile phone like Amazon or something like that. That is a little more advanced application or advanced instruction or advanced program. Okay, so in that case, this part, documentation and implementation, also maintenance and enhancement. So this implementation, then we have the what is called as maintenance maintenance and enhance enhancement or enhance. Okay, so these three steps I am saying. Okay, test and debugging is okay, then you can also have this documentation. So in this in the when you are doing that in the lab, in for just adding two numbers or multiplication or some particular solving differential equation, in those cases these steps are not that much important in a real life, but it is also important. For example, if you want to document your program, and afterwards if you want to add two numbers or multiply two numbers, if you are using that particular program, then it is nothing but implementation. Okay, implementation of that particular program. And then you can also maintain, you can have some kind of for example, if you consider the applications, different applications. So I'm talking these things based on some real life experience or real life applications, so that you can understand it much more easily. So if you consider the Amazon app, for example, and if they have already developed, we know that they have developed all these codes and the instructions for that particular application. And once you install that particular application in your mobile phone, and it will run. Okay, it will run, and if you click on that application, it will ask some questions, and whatever the application is developed for, according to that, it will run in your mobile phone. And in that case, the application, once you have developed and it is documented and implemented in the society, implemented in different for different users, And once that is done, then you have to maintain, you have to go through these steps, maintenance and enhancement, which means that you have to check the everything in this application is running smoothly or not. You also have to have some particular program to protect your application, because sometimes some virus can attack the that particular applications. There some other people can change your program in their own way. So that should not happen. For example, someone installed Amazon, and some other people can use that particular application and change their specification and everything. That is not going. That is not a good practice, right? Because if anyone can change that, then the program will not run as the way that has meant. Okay, so in that case, we will be using this maintenance and enhancement step, where we will be protecting the application in such a way that the program or the application should run smoothly, and it should give you the output that you want. Okay, or the output of the program should be the same as the output when it is developed initially. So it should not be changed by using by some other persons or external any other malwares or any other kind of programs. It should not affect. Okay, and also if you want to develop or to add something more to your program, for example, Amazon want to for example, in this scenario, is for example, they want to have an option to home delivery food items through this application. Okay, also, so they also want to include, for example, I'm saying, for example, if they want to include these food items also in their list, for example, I don't know whether it is there or not, but okay, so like Swiggy that they are doing now, if Amazon also want to include this kind of activities in their program, in their application, and then they can modify their application. And again, that is nothing but the updation process, that when you are using some particular application, they will ask updation, latest updation is available, like that. So which means that they are changing the program in between, and they are modifying their developed program into something else. Okay, so that they will ask you permission for updating that particular program. So sometimes for example, if the I don't know an exact real life example to give you, but sometimes, for example, if you consider WhatsApp, initially there were no video calls like that, for example. Okay, then they implemented video calls in that particular application. Then they will ask you to update that particular application, update WhatsApp. Then if you give S permission S, then they will update that application. And next time you will see some option for the video call also. Okay, so that part is coming as enhancement of your program, or enhancing the program, which means that you are adding some new feature, or changing some features of your program. Okay, then you have to update it. That process is nothing but when you are using mobile phone, and if you are updating some program or application, which means that your the programmer, or the one that provide that particular application, has changed something in that program, and you are also taking, or you are also accepting that particular change in that program in your mobile phone. Okay, so that process is called as updating of your application. So this is also important, because once you have developed a particular program, you have documented it, you have implemented it in the society, and once you implemented that, then you also have to maintain it. You have to do some maintenance, which means that you have to protect your application from malwares, you have to protect your applications from hackers and all those things. That is important. Also, you have to enhance, or if you have to change the applications, you have to modify the application, you have to improve the applications. In it, you have to include some more and more features in your application, all those steps will come in the maintenance and enhancement program. So these are the basic steps in developing a program. First, you have to define the problem. Then you have to design a solution where you will use the algorithm or flowchart, how you can solve that particular defined problem. And then we have to go through the program coding, where you will be using some particular language. You will be following the algorithm or flowchart, and you will be developing some instruction by using programming language. And we will be that particular step is called as program coding, and you will execute that, okay, that particular program. Once you execute or we can call that testing your program. Once you test your program, if it is running smoothly, you can go directly to the documentation part. Otherwise, you have to do some debugging, which means that you have to remove the errors in your program. Then go to the once all the errors are gone, then you have to go to the documentation part. Then implementation. Once you have documented your program, then you have to go to the implementation is nothing but the program has to be used by the user. That is nothing but that is called as implementation. Implementing that particular program means that you have to use that program for that particular application. So that once that is over, that is not the end of the step of development of a program. Then you have to maintenance. You have to do some maintenance and enhancement, because you have to protect your application or program that you have developed, and you have to also have to change the features accordingly by time. You have to modify the program, and in such a way that the user will use it again and again. So these are the basic steps involved in the program, so that for example, in enhancement of a program or updation, that is I will give one more example in the uh, uh, in the first step. For example, if you consider the normal calculator, which is having this normal arithmetic operations, addition, subtraction, division, multiplication. Okay, you have all those features, and you have developed some program to do these activities: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And if you want to enhance that particular program, or if you want to add some more feature, for example, if you want to add some trigonometric operation in that particular program, or if you want to add some other kind of mathematical operation, for example, differentiation, integration, and all those things, also you have to include along with the arithmetic operation. Then you have to use this enhancement program part. Okay, so where you will be updating your program and into a modified form. Okay, that is the enhancement part. So these are the basic steps that we have to follow in development of a program. So we will start the Python coding or Python programming in the next class. So we will stop here. Actually, I thought to start the Python today itself, but unfortunately, I'm not in session, and I'm not having that particular notes with me. So I will be stopping here, and in the next class, we will be going through the Python, and we'll start with the basic data types in the Python, and then how we can do the input and outputs, how we can have this input and output of the Python, how we will give some data in Python when you are developing that one particular program. Also, we'll get data from the Python, and also we'll discuss some of the features of the Python, different other uh, for example, lists, dictionary, and all those things we will discuss, and we will do some program based on that. So I will be in the next class. I will be doing this theory part. That I will not give you notes that you can collect from anywhere, but the execution or the development of that program that I will do and share with you the entire screen, and how we can do that particular different programs, or how we can use different instructions in Python that we'll discuss. And so I will be, for example, if different data types, if you are explaining different data types, then I will be explaining those different data types, then I will do some examples on that particular section. Okay, by using Python, so that you will be able to understand how we can code, or how we can enter instruction in the Python, how we can make program by using Python. So that will be much more easier way to understand the coding part. Okay, so if you have any doubt, you can ask now. Otherwise, we will continue in the next class.